welcome to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. I'm your host, Nikki C., all the way from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have an amazing guest for you today, but first, let's give honor to our sponsors, the Connected Leaders Academy, Root Financial Services, Breathe Capital Planning, and the Author Millionaire Academy. And if you want to know more about our sponsors and what they do, you can check out our website at www.buildingaleadershipmindset.com. Also, we have so much going on with BALM Global and what's about to happen in 2024. We have a couple of virtual events coming up. You can find out everything right there, one-stop shop, to kind of get informed on what we have going on. Coming soon, we will also have bi-weekly info sessions on everything that BALM Global is working on and how you can be a part of the mission. So let's get to it. We have an amazing guest. I met her through the project of writing my book on warrior women, or my chapter for that, as well as being connected by Marilyn Morales with this amazing Wonder Woman. And she is just absolutely awesome. Her name is Jeannette Paxia. She is a 2-time international best-selling author, sought-after speaker, and coach for adults and children. She's passionate about helping adults and children live the life that they want to live, no matter what age they are. Jeannette achieves her goals through one-on-one coaching, group coaching, speaking, and writing. And I had the privilege of seeing her. Well, I didn't have the privilege because I didn't actually hear her, but I seen her on stage, but hearing what people said at the mic drop event where she spoke in full Wonder Woman gear totally inspired me to even want to get to know her as well. I want to know what her mission is, and we were able and blessed to connect. So without further ado, let me get Jeannette on here. How are you, love?
I am doing wonderful. Good morning, afternoon, evening to everyone, wherever you are in the country and whenever you're listening. I'm happy to be here, Nikki. Thank you.
Yes, I'm so happy to have you. It's been a long time coming. I know we've run some of the same circles for quite some time now, and your name has been
Yes.
really highly seeked, and it's just an absolute pleasure to have been able to have a conversation with you and know your heart, what your mission is, and I'm just all for it. So tell us a little bit about who Jeannette is, where did this all start, and to where led you to your new journey.
It goes back. I lost my mom 13 years ago, and I remember standing in the church. We were about to follow her coffin, and I looked up. I had been crying for days, and I looked up, and there was standing room only. So there was hundreds of people there. I lost count. I have no idea how many, but I didn't realize that she had impacted so many lives. She was very quiet. Unlike me, I'm very loud like my father, Sicilian. And she impacted lives without being loud about it. And I realized right then and there, I call it my defining moment. It's actually a story in Women Who Rise, one of the books that I was in, that I had the choice in either to follow in her footsteps and keep moving forward, or to bury myself in sorrow, because it was unexpected. And anytime you lose someone that's close to you, it's difficult. And so I started on this journey and connected back to when I was bullied for years, and realized that although I love helping adults and children, my anti-bullying is my main message, and it affects both children and adults. So that is how it's a short version of how I got started in this. And I feel privileged every day to be able to align with my soul purpose.
That is awesome to hear. And what I love about our stories is that in the unfortunate of losing someone close to us is when we really receive most of our answers that we probably have been looking for some time, as to what is our purpose, what are we to be doing with our lives, what is our message. And to see that a quiet woman, your mom, that you thought was quiet, had so much impact in like that silence, right? In that,
Yes.
and for it to move you and take action is really things that, our world needs to pay attention to. Like, what have we been through? And we're just not really seeing why we've been through it and what can we do with that. So thank you for that. So now you fast forward, you get this idea and you want to start something. So what starts in you, and how do you get through the mindset in even putting it together? So what does those steps look like?
It was a lot of steps of a journey, and definitely started with mindset. I shed 85 pounds. I went through a process of reflecting back, became a national board certified health and wellness coach. I am actually a nurse. I've been a nurse for many years, worked in medical for over 25 years. So even though it sounds like it doesn't connect, it does. And finding that mindset and remembering back to the time where it affected my entire life after that. I was bullied for over 3 years. It decreased my self-confidence was awful until I, moved forward and found a teacher who helped me. So it affected everything that I did in my life, and realizing that children, here I am as an adult relearning all of this stuff and learning it to change my mindset. And I thought, you know what, children should really be taught this young. Why don't we start young with them? So here's my mission. It's called Connect to Your Inner Superhero, and that is to help them build a solid foundation for success. So even though we're always learning, they don't have to relearn these basic success skills.
Yeah. It's so important to start at a very young age. If we had what we are trying to create today, 20, 30, 40 years ago, how would the world look today, right? Would
Yes,
we
very
be
different.
more equipped to identify and be aware and gain the confidence that possibility is endless if we just put in the work, if we had the tools, and things like that? So, I totally get that. That's when we connected, and you told me that you work with the youth. And I was so intrigued because, Ladies of Leadership is working on getting ladies rising out there. We're on our third meeting, and it has been just absolutely beautiful to see what we've been missing and what these young ladies will now be receiving, right? And I know there's so much work out there that already has been done, and we just have to continue paving that way. So let us know about your what you do in that space as well.
So working with youth, I have my program called Connect to Your Inner Superhero. And what I do is I go to schools, camps, churches, preschools, even start as young as preschools, and talk to them about how they can armor themselves with self-confidence and with these success skills, because challenges are going to come in your life. Life is not always going to be, this easy path. There's going to be challenges, there's going to be side roads that you have to go on. But how can we arm ourselves and be ready for those challenges and make ourselves the best we can? Mindset, health, whatever we can do to build that solid foundation for success. And then, as I was doing this program, adults would come up to me after, so teachers, parents, and they would say, I learned too. And so I realized through my program and through talking to others and presenting that as adults, we have what I call cracks in our foundation. And those cracks are our stories of our past. So it's whatever fear we have from the past. Like my story of the past was bullying. And I can help you find beauty in those cracks and move forward to success. Wherever we are in life, whatever stage we're in, whatever's already happened to us, we can stop right now and start with mindset and change our future and change where we're heading and the road that we're on. And I believe that always starts with mindset.
I totally agree. And I love that you shed a light on our cracks and how our cracks can be just as beautiful as far as, you know, finding ourselves broken in a time where we kind of don't feel like there's any hope. There's no doors going to open for us. How are we going to get through it? And to know that there are support systems out there and people that are looking to help. How do you get people to seek that out, whether it's from you or from someone else? Because there are resources out there. And if there's not resources, you create them, right? So how would you help someone to kind of shift that mindset to even share that they even need this?
I think that everyone has to come to that point of decision on their own, but we keep putting the information out there. We keep talking about it. We don't give up. There's many, many, many times I can tell you I have felt like giving up on this, but you can't give up because this is needed. And when the person is ready, they'll hear. So, when they're ready to hear the message, when they're ready to learn the lesson, they'll hear it. So we need to just keep going out there, those of us that are doing this work, and keep sharing our message and keep shining a light on the fact that there is a way out. There is a way. We're all going to go through stuff. And I am absolutely not saying it's not difficult. It's very difficult. Some of the things that I have been through, the stories I could tell you, have been very difficult and knocked me down to the core, and times where I had to bring myself out of it. And I do want to say one thing here, and that is, in those times of challenges that you have, if you have mental health issues, it's not something to be ashamed of. And there is help out there. I am definitely not a mental health expert, but there is help out there. So if those challenges you're going through is one where mental health issues are included in that, please do what you can to seek help. And if you have a family member or a friend that's going through, there is help for you too, so that you can do what you can to help them. But all we can do is keep offering that to people, and when they're ready, they'll come.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about us taking ownership and just knowing that the resources are out there and you just have to seek them if you truly are ready for the change. And I love that you said that it's not easy, because it's absolutely not easy. Nothing that we do or nothing that we go through, whether it's in our business, in relationships, in friendships, in work, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be a challenge that we're going to be faced with every single day, every single moment of our lives. And I think in another podcast that I recorded, it all talks about attitude. Like, what is your attitude as these things are happening to you? Do you kind of, seek revenge? Do you kind of step back and see, who played a part in this? Take ownership of your portion of, the challenge, if that exists, and just being able to identify and become aware and just really just want help as an overall human being to just live life abundantly, right? And be able to seek out just whatever message the universe is trying to give us so that we can take action. So your work is just absolutely amazing. Tell us about your foundation as well, not just the program part, but what is your mission and what are you looking to spread with that?
I had a goal of reaching 111,000, I think by 2033, 111,000 children. My goal and my mission is absolutely anti-bullying. And one of the reasons that, well, it's not, I talk about this too, because I connected with Scarlett Lewis. I don't know if you've heard of Scarlett Lewis. Her son, Jesse Lewis, he died in Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting, which was 10 years ago. And she has a movement called Choose Love Movement. And she's one of my mentors. From tragedy, she has done something and has a nonprofit for it and goes out there and spreads the message of choosing love. And he was an amazing child, saved 19 others before he was killed. And just how she has some books and everything about it and talks about it. So for me, it's not only anti-bullying, but I think that we need to do something about these school shootings. And over half of the school shootings happen, obviously they have some mental health issues, but they go back and retaliate because of bullying. So if I can make a difference in even one child's life and save even one child, then I've done what I came to do. Although I would like to, save a lot more.
Absolutely.
But we've got to do something about this. There's just been too many in the 10 years since Sandy Hook. Way too many.
Oh, it's just boggles my mind that we can't even be safe at a school or send our children to school without wondering if something unforeseen is going to happen. And, we don't know the answers to that. And we just go with faith and we, just go upon our day. But when we can raise awareness and be part of the change and spread that word, whether we are directly or indirectly involved or getting people, the right people connected to continue to spread that word, how can people find your mission and what you're doing and be part of what you have going on?
You can find me at innersuperhero.org. That is my speaking page. It has some videos and it has a link to book a call with me or just get a hold of me. I also have a free guide because I feel like one of the most important parts to know if your child's being bullied is to create open communication with them. So I do have a free guide, innersuperhero.me, on how to create open communication. And that can be used, it says for children, but it really can be used for anybody. Learning to communicate is also a success tool, but ensuring that you feel like your children have a safe space to come to you and talk to you about issues like bullying or other things that they're going through is a key in helping you empower them to be successful.
Absolutely. So I had unfortunately went through the bullying with my son when he was in school, and it started as young as first grade, which was so sad to me. And finding that the teacher wasn't really understanding my son and not really, seeking the resources for him in the school if she identified whatever. So she came to like predetermined judgments of, what conditions he had and things like that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So that was like huge that we had to kind of clear up really fast because you are not a licensed mental health specialist to even think that my son has any issues. He's a very quiet kid. He doesn't mess with anyone. He's just there to learn. And then, but then I started taking action. I'm like, okay, if something's being identified, let's see what that is. And my son was actually diagnosed by the third or fourth grade that he had, that he was on the spectrum of autism and that he was diagnosed with Asperger's. And this was all new to me. And I never told him his diagnosis. I got the resources and the treatment that he needed. And it was mostly in the social aspect area. And it just finding those cues to really make conversation, with people and it just those type of things, right? That he, lacked. And he was always gravitated to adults and, had great conversations with them. And then as a parent, just taking all the information, getting knowledge myself on how I can help guide him through this process, again, without without telling him that that's what, the doctors had.
You didn't want to label him.
I don't even like labels for myself. So
yes.
Definitely did not do that. And he didn't find out until he was 16.
Wow.
And he asked me why I didn't tell him. And I told him I did not want that to hinder him. I didn't want someone to put a label on you and kind of decide your destiny because of something that, that can be, treated in different ways. Especially the unknown of that. It didn't deteriorate your knowledge or wanting to learn and create your craft and be in your genius and all that good stuff. So that was just my personal choice not to do that. What do you think about that? And I know that you share a similar story. So I would love for you to share our story and what your mission is behind that as well.
Well, I think that you brought up a couple of great points, and one of them is advocating for your child. Follow your intuition and advocate for your child. So I spent years advocating for my son Jacob. Pushed because you can mess with me, but you can't mess with my children. The whole mama lion, bear, whatever you want to call it, comes out. And I knew something was different and not bad. Different is not bad with him. And I kept noticing that there was something going on, and I kept taking him to doctors. And finally, we did get an Asperger's diagnosis. So now they call it on the spectrum, but Asperger's is very different. And every child on the autism spectrum is so extremely different, and what they can do, how they react. But with the Asperger's, he has a couple of things that he is obsessed with, and he's genius in this area. But it took years for me to advocate and get him the diagnoses. That, along with ADHD, which I also have that diagnosis. I do understand what you're saying about labeling, but I feel like no matter what, if your child has a diagnosis or not, you must advocate for them because you are their voice. Teach them also to advocate for themselves, but especially when they're younger. And because I'm such an advocate for him, and I'm such an advocate for any child or adult on the spectrum, I did put together the book Superheroes on the Spectrum. It is in the process, as you know, as one of the authors and contributors to the book. So I appreciate that. But the reason that I did this was because when he was about 11, he did not understand social cues. He did not get, that in public, you don't throw this huge fit, especially when you're this child he was bigger than me. And he was in Walmart because I said no to something. He was throwing a fit. And this lady came up to me and said, "You need to beat your child." That is when this book was born, because I wanted to shed light on neurodiversity and shed light on the fact that you can't tell someone else how to raise their child. You don't know what they're going through. So passing judgment on another parent or anybody when you have no idea what they're going through is not right. And all she did was made me feel worse. So that's what this book came out of. And I'm hoping that it really does shed light on the special abilities of children and adults with the diagnoses on the spectrum, and the challenges that we go through, and what you can do to learn about them instead of passing judgment. So advocate for your child is one of the main things that I'm trying to say here. And I'm glad that you were able to do that for your son.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Welcome.
Sharing that story with you when we first connected. And I think that's really where our alignment really shined. It highlighted this is I think you said, now I know why Marilyn connected us. And it was just awesome to see you in New York, with, the showcasing of your hour. I'm going to claim it too.
Yes,
I'm going to be a contributor.
You are a contributor to it.
Yes. I'm super excited about, just being a part of it and being able to add an additional voice and a different perspective, but still the same mission for what you have going on with this superhero book. I think it's absolutely beautiful that people really take these ideas and they put them out there, especially when they're needed at the most needed time, right? Mm-hmm. And you never know when that's going to be. But if an idea sits on your heart and you want to make a difference, whether in bullying, changing, motivating, inspiring, just everything that we can do as an action, that's what we have to do, right? And that's really our sole purpose, is to be here and be able to share our experiences, our knowledge, so that next person is well prepared for these types of things. So I am just in awe of everything that you're doing. Tell us about your first two books.
My very first book was over 20 years ago. It was called Our Home, and it was about recycling because I'm also passionate about the earth. But the two international bestsellers is Women Who Rise, and it came out right in the beginning of COVID. We had no idea that this was going to happen. And it's stories of women and challenges they've been through and how they were able to rise through that. And then Life Lessons in Success, also a bestseller. is I'm a Jack Canfield speaker, certified success principles trainer, speaker, coach. And it's 33 stories, both men and women contribute to it, on how we got through our challenges, but also using the success principles. And then I have some children's books. I Am a Superhero, You Are a Superhero, as my program is based, as you can tell, on superheroes. I dress as Wonder Woman, and it's called Connect to Your Inner Superhero. And then excitingly, on August 19th, so very soon, Spiritual Fitness Survivor will be coming out. That's also a collaboration book, and very excited to be part of that. In 9 days, that will release. I also have a couple more. I mean, I will continue to write because it's another way for people to connect and find their soul purpose and move forward with change. So I will always continue to write. I love writing.
I love that. I love that. And I am honored to be a co-author with you in Spiritual Fitness Survivor. So that's super exciting. I will be in the room. I can't wait to meet all the other amazing authors, which I've just been seeing them like on a little square. Some may be there, some may not, but we will definitely connect in this lifetime. It's just, and I was, glad to see you in New York. But we have many other stops.
Lots of synchronicities. Journey. We have a lot of synchronicities and a lot that we're going to be doing together. I see in the future.
Yes.
Definitely going to collaborate on a few projects. And I mean, our missions are aligned. And so
I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited for the unknown. And we have a little bit of what we talked about, but there is so many possibilities. And I'm just glad again that we are in community, and it just takes one conversation. It just takes one person to say your name to someone else, but they can't see you if you're not out there putting it all on the line for what we believe in, to have our voices heard, to raise these topics that are being pushed down in the world of business, because it's all about, the business portion now, right? But there's so many other topics within the business that people don't know that our circles actually are like a part of, and things that they are building that are just so beautiful. We have so many nonprofits out there that are just doing amazing work with veterans, with, people struggling with cancer, and just so many other things. And it's just another great thing to be a part of. And that's just a change in the movement of what this world is looking like today, to make it as best as they can for our legacy, right? For our children's 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 children. I always say that all the time, and you're just doing amazing work, Jeannette. How can people get a hold of you like today?
The best way is to go to innersuperhero.org or get the free guide at innersuperhero.me. Either way. You can also email me at j.p@paxhealthcoaching.com.
Awesome. And we will definitely have all those handles for you. So what is next? I know that we have the book coming out, a couple co-authorships, but what are some other goals you kind of just want to share what you're doing?
My app, Inner Superhero, will be coming out in a couple of months. I'm actually speaking for that. It'll be on TV with Action Era on Monday, a couple days from now. And also speaking in Vegas with Ultimate Speaking with Christoph. That is actually a military event. So there will be a lot of people from the military speaking on their stories. Look forward to be honoring my father, who was part of the military, and speaking on that. I have a bunch of speaking events coming up, but always open to coming to schools and talking to kids. So if anyone's out there and wants me to come talk to the school, please contact me. But, I just keep spreading the message. Eventually, the people that need to hear it will hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do believe that you will supersede your 111,000. I think that's going to go way beyond that. You definitely have BALM Global support. So just know that for sure. And getting on these platforms and sharing your message is not always easy, because we don't know who's going to really latch on. But the point is that we get on and we share. what's on our hearts, what's the mission, what we can all do as individuals, whether business owners or personal. If these topics resonate with you, and bullying has been a big one for the past couple years, like at its highest peak,
Yes,
whether it's on virtual, on these
I agree.
platforms, in
Mhm.
school, and bullying can happen in the home as well. So we
Yes,
definitely need to get a hands on helping those that are just afraid to speak. Give them that safe space, that platform. So, and we can all do this, whether by supporting the mission, financially, or being at the front and center at those engagements where we're either running them or we are being a part of them, and just supporting our community members in the fight for those that don't have a voice right now. So thank you for everything that you are doing. I
thank
cannot
you.
wait until we can connect more. And I know we're all doing life, but when you make time for the cause, it's just all worth it. So I absolutely love your work, love what you're doing. Glad we're connected, glad we're in community. I will be giving you the floor to just let our audience know whatever's on your heart, about 2 minutes, kind of just share what, yeah, whatever you want to share.
One of the main things that's been on my heart lately is my heart goes out to my friend Susan, whose son died by suicide a couple of weeks ago. The number has increased a lot in children too. He was not a child, but still. And I want everyone to know there is help out there, and there is a new national suicide hotline, 988. So, in memory of Marshall, and sending love and light and prayers to Susan and her family, please reach out to 988 if you're having issues and you need help. There is help out there. Just pause for a minute before you do something that you can't take back. So that's been on my mind mostly, always putting that out there. And just, life is too short to live unhappily. So find your soul purpose, connect to it, and then do just one little step every week. It doesn't have to be a complete change in your life. Just start small, and you can affect someone else's life. It's important.
Oh, that's so good. Just bite-sized steps. And it goes a long way. And especially when you take one step, you won't see the impact until you continue that journey. So you can't just start, you have to see it out. And trust me, you don't want to see it out by yourself. You need to take the army, the community,
Mhm.
everything that you have around you, because there is going to be support on this journey. So, again, I'm just glad to be on this journey with you, Jeannette. Thank you so much for your time, your wisdom, and everything you're doing. Thank you all for listening to another episode of Building a Leadership Mindset podcast. And as I always say, have a great day and make it count.
Thank you.
You're welcome.